Network. We are here every Sunday discussing issues that affect our community, issues of development as well taking place in our community. There are a lot of activities coming up this weekend in our community. And we also have with us tonight a candidate for Congress, 11 Congressional District. We'll be talking to him. Still having some technical problem. We're making some adjustment. And we'll be able to bring him tonight. But today is Palm Sunday for those who went to church. We want to say today is Palm Sunday. People are waving branches, palm branches, saying Hosanna, Hosanna. It will be the same people coming this weekend to say crucify him. What a mystery. And tonight we have Dr. Agoda with us, as I said very early. Dr. Agoda, I want to say welcome. There's a little noise at the back. If you can keep it down a little bit, it'll be all right. Welcome, Dr. Agoda. Tell our many viewers, who is Dr. Agoda? I know you've been here before. We talk about your achievement in the education sector, 33 years as an educator. But just for a little throwback, tell our many viewers, who is Dr. Agoda?
My name is Komi Agoda-Koussema.
Yeah, you got to put that off. You got to put the other one off. Yep.
Sorry about that. Okay. My name is Komi Agoda-Koussema. I've been an educator for the past 36 years, 33 in New York City, 3 years, 1 in Togo, 2 in Gabon, and in between that, stint in Europe and across other countries in the world. So I just retired February 28, 2022, with the quest and goal of making congressional aspirations a goal. We want to represent our people. We want to run for Congress to represent Congressional District 11, Staten Island, and Brooklyn to make the needed changes for our people. When I say our people, the poor working class people, poor in the sense that they have been shouldering the burden of the economy for all these years, struggling to make ends meet and having no representation. We need to represent them. We need to make changes for the benefit of our people and all Staten Island and Brooklyn in this congressional district.
Dr. Agoda, tell us, what did you see wrong that you think, if elected, can correct that mistake? That other congressional representative of 11 congressional district did not do those things. That if elected, you can make that different.
I would not say I saw anything wrong. I saw a lot of things missing. First thing missing is when we talk about representation, we want the candidate or the representative to be accessible to his or her people. You should be available for them 24/7. You are a servant to the people. You are not some aloof, long distance, far away person nobody can have access to. People should be able to call you and lay their complaints or their issues, and you should be able to be there for them. So if I'm elected, I will represent my people. I make this one promise. You can count on calling me and I will call you back for any issue that you have at hand. Representation means you have issues, we deal with them. You have problems, we help you solve them. You have concerns in the community, we're there for that. And finally, we need someone who will be there to listen to the concerns that confront the community at large. And by addressing those concerns, you are representing the people. I intend to do that 24/7. We want to be servants of the people with transparency. Transparency means whatever we can do, we can do it, and we are there to help you do it. That's what
Dr. Agoda,
it means.
you go into Congress. Why Congress? They got city council, they got New York State Representative or New York State Senate, but you decide you want to go to DC. Congress. Why Congress?
Well, Congress, because that is where I think I can do the most good. In trying to run for public office, it's not about choosing an office that is easier to attain. It's where you can serve and where you are qualified to serve and where you can make the most difference. And in Congress, we intend to help our constituency solve its problems through education. We need educational funding, we need small business support, and we need a hospital on Staten Island. And I think we have to represent our constituency adequately to be able to achieve those goals. That's why I set my eyes on Congress. And I think I'm qualified to go to Congress unless somebody tells me otherwise. Why not Congress?
Why not Congress? But Dr. Agoda, you be in the classroom all alone. People don't know you out here. What do you depend on to contest for this position? Because politics is popularity. People have to know you. And people argue that. Who is he? All alone, 33 years in the classroom. We don't know him. What will you say to that?
Well, you cannot know me if for the past 33 years I've been taking care of your kids in the classroom. Taking care of your kids is equal public service, or maybe I should, in my own terms, the greatest public service there is. Education is the foundation, is the greatest equalizer. We start by educating our kids, through whom we give skills and teach how to fend for themselves, and by extension, we take care of society at large. So for the past 3 years, I have been in the classrooms from junior high school through graduate schools, teaching students and educating them. And now I want to take those skills to take care of the parents and the community at large. Those skills are not for the pleasure or for nothing. We apply those same skills. Politics is not about being popular. It's about serving the people. It's about representing the people. It's common sense guidance. In other words, with the idea of representing the people, you look for solutions that will benefit and do the most good for the greater good of society. So I think and I believe we are poised, qualified, and ready to do the work for the people.
Poised, qualified, and ready to do the job. If you're just joining us tonight, this is Family Connection Network. If you have a question, drop us a question. And if you can call in, maybe we'll try to make some adjustment later so we can have you call in to contribute. Tonight we have with us Dr. Komi Agoda-Koussema, candidate for Congress, CD 11, Staten Island, and South Brooklyn. Dr. Agoda, I know there are a lot of people who are out there. By the way, tell us, which party are you running on? Are you a Republican or a Democrat?
I'm running on the Democratic banner. I am a conservative Democrat. Conservative, I mean, my values are as traditional as you can get. So, with that said, if there are any questions, you can ask and I'll give you clarifications.
As a conservative Democrat, what are you speaking about? What are your agenda? What are the pillars that you think that those conservatives can believe in you and give you their votes?
As a conservative, I depend strongly on my faith. As a Christian and a member of the Christ Assembly Lutheran Church of Staten Island, I count on God first. And I believe He has the most in this agenda, if not this project. I did ask for guidance through my faith before I launch in this project. So this is not some very simple or simplistic goal that we set. We put everything in prayer, and we believe that if God wants us to do this, no one can change the course of his direction. So, as a strong believer of faith, everything to me begins with prayer, and God answers prayers. So, we count on faith, we count on the people's trust in our promises, which are not very complicated. My one promise I keep saying, you call me and I will call you back. My office will call you back. We would listen to your complaint. We will listen to your concerns. We will listen to your problems, and we will help you solve them. That is what representation means, and we intend to do that.
Dr. Agoda, you say he trusts in God, he believes in his faith. And the Bible said a faith without work is a dead faith. So tell us, what level of work have you done already? Because I know there's a pending primary down the road. When it's a primary, you can let us know exactly when it's a Democratic primary and what you expect those Democrats who are supporting you, even those who are not supporting you, will go into your agenda. Why should they give you their vote?
The primary for the Democratic Party is on June 28th, and we count on their vote because we have the 7 goal agenda, which spells out all we intend to do, from education, small business support, as well as infrastructure, to simplifying the voting rights, or no, the voting process. In other words, there should be no reason why we cannot allow citizens to vote within a reasonable amount of time and then go vote. We should be able to, as citizens, be allowed to register to vote, possibly even also allow independents to be able to participate in the primaries. New York has what we call the closed primaries. Closed primaries where you are not a registered Democrat or Republican, you cannot participate. That limits who participates in the process. These are little simple things that can be done with consensus of both parties or the system at large to increase the pool of participation for all citizens who are eligible to vote. The collection of petitions, signatures to get on the ballot was a very tedious process. As a candidate, I went out there knocking doors in the rain, in the snow, in the wind to get petitions. This was no easy feat by any means. But in the process, I learned several valuable lessons. I saw voters, I saw citizens who were pleased to see the candidate seeking for petitions. Some of them told me they've never seen a candidate do this before. In my case, it was a learning curve because I've never been a politician. I wanted to know what it felt like. So I went out there, spoke to the individuals, talked to the constituents, explained to them why I'm running, who I am. They've never seen me, they've never heard my name, but for the first time, they were able to lay eyes on me, and I explained to them what our agenda was. 90% of those to whom I spoke signed our petitions. That's how encouraging the process was. In spite of the difficulties, in fact, from 14 floors in apartment buildings, we walked all the way down, knocking door to door to door. We did this for the whole month of March, every single day, rain, shine, or snow. So it was a very tedious process, but it was a valuable learning experience. And I'm grateful for all the people I met, for those who give us their signatures. We cannot be more grateful. And I believe for those who, even from the very beginning, said, I am not going to sign for it. I don't know who you are. And I said, well, give us a chance. Let me explain who I am and why you can sign for us if you are a Democrat. And when they listened for 5-10 minutes, we're able to convince some of them. So that's a good experience right there. So I say this to say sometimes it may be difficult to do the groundwork, but the groundwork is necessary because that's connecting with the voters right there and then. So it was a good and valuable experience, which I don't take very lightly. I'm grateful.
This is Family Connection Network. If you're just joining us, and we have with us Dr. Komi Agoda, a candidate for 11 Congressional District in New York. Dr. Agoda, you are an immigrant, and we have seen in other states like Minnesota immigrant being elected to Congress. What is your relationship with the immigrant community on Staten Island?
As an immigrant, I do have, connections with the immigrant. It's the first base of support. Immigrants, as a matter of fact, we have a huge Liberian population in Staten Island, Nigerian community on Staten Island, Ghanaian community on Staten Island, and some from Sierra Leone, Guinea, Mali, name it, and some even from North Africa, Algeria, Morocco, and Egypt. My connection with them comes from having taught ESL to all the immigrant students. I know every single one of them, at least for the past 20 years in Curtis High School. As an ESL teacher, I've taught all of them from 1999 to present. So most of my students are already of voting age, and some of them are even parents by extension. So my connection to immigrant population, immigrant families runs very deep, from the students, their parents and families. And this is not only for Staten Island, but equally in Brooklyn, because I started teaching, as a matter of fact, in Brooklyn years ago, before I went to the Bronx, came back to Brooklyn and Staten Island. So I know the immigrant population, I know the immigrant families, and this even goes beyond just the Africans and the how do I call it, the other ethnicities. Every second language speaker, Hispanic, Russian, Arab, or African, I have deep ties, and that is my first love, because as an ESL teacher, that is the first thing we do, connect with the immigrants. So I know every single one of them. The list goes on and on and on.
How many candidates are in a race with you for this position?
I know of two other candidates. I'm not sure the final tally because the numbers could change anytime. I know of Max Rose and Brittany DeBarros. I heard there's a fourth one in the race, another lady. I'm not sure what her name is because I'm not privy to that information. It could be 3, 4, or 5. So as of right now, I know 3 of us in the race in the Democratic primary for Congressional District 11.
What do you make of your opponent? Do they have an upper edge? Because the likes of Max Rose was there before, and he ran and he got defeated by a Republican, and he stayed coming back. I don't know why, because that's the same Republican that is there. I don't know what's the possibility of him defeating her. So, what do you make of your opponent?
I'm I'm not sure how to respond to that question per se, because um, politics is very complicated to say the least, and I know Max Rose was a former representative of the district. He lost to Maliotakis, and now he's running again. Brittany DeBarros, I only met her through one of the not one of the meetings in the endorsement process with the Brooklyn Democrats, and that was when I saw her speak live on camera. She is, in my view, a veteran politician, and apparently, having worked with Max Rose in the past, they know each other very well. That's all I can say about each of them. I know also that she's a veteran, and he's also a veteran. They've all been they all served in the military. I am the only one who has no military experience, but I've been a public school teacher all my life. I'm an educator. They are former politicians and veterans in the military. So contrasting our resumes and our experiences, I consider myself conservative Democrat, right in the middle between Max Rose and Brittany DeBarros. And I think, given their stance on the issues, which I don't want to discuss because it's not a debate, I believe that we have a good case to make to our constituents that we are the best candidate in the race. We have what it takes to represent everyone fairly and even in the best possible way, given our experiences, given our talents, given our goals, and trying to serve everyone equitably. We intend to represent everyone fairly. We are not going to favor anyone against or beneath anyone. We're going to try and be as transparent and as fair as possible to make our constituency a better place to live for our children and future generations.
This is Family Connection Network. If you're just joining us, we have with us tonight in company Dr. Komi Agoda, a candidate for 11 Congressional District. If you have a question for Dr. Agoda, just drop us a line on our live feed. We'll be able to read those questions. If you have a concern or maybe a word to say, don't hesitate. Please go ahead and do that for us. Dr. Agoda, let me take you back a little bit. You talk about having a government hospital on Staten Island. There's none on Staten Island. All the hospitals here are private. Why did those who have been there in the past never had a thought of having a government hospital on Staten Island? But did we have one in the past? I guess correct. We have Baylor Seaton. I think Baylor Seaton was like a government hospital. Am I correct? I don't know.
Yeah, you mean public hospital?
Public hospital. Yeah.
Bailey,
yeah. Go ahead.
Bailey Seaton was shut down several years ago, and was never revived. And that was, if I'm not mistaken, I think public hospital. I'm not 100% sure about that. Bottom line is that without a public hospital on the island, you are limiting the choices of the people. And why do I say that? If there are public hospitals in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and the Bronx, why don't we have one on the island? And even if there was one before and it was shut down, why can't it be revived? So the same goes for everyone else. Staten Islanders pay the same taxes. And by limiting the choices of the constituents, you are making life more difficult for them. It's as simple as that. We need a public hospital, just like every other borough has one. It's not a complicated thought or situation. It's as simple as what is good for the goose is good for the gander. We all pay tax on Staten Island, so we deserve a public hospital, and that's not a huge request to make to the government that Staten Islanders need a public hospital. I think we don't have one because the representatives don't find it as a priority. They didn't deem it necessary to fight for one or to even to request for one, because this is not even about fighting, it's about just requesting. And I think that should be a simple request that needs to be taken care of. And that's one of the reasons why Staten Island is considered forgotten borough. They forget Staten Island in every, because first of all, it's an island which is completely separated from the other parts of the city. You have to go to Staten Island either by ferry or driving, and our public transportation system is also limited with the train that goes from South Shore to the ferry and back, and we can't even have any simple connection between Staten Island, Manhattan, or Brooklyn. We can have faster ferries around. We can have a, a, a train connecting St. George to Arlington, which will just zoom in maybe 10 minutes. There are things we can do to improve life on the island. The list goes on and on and on.
Okay, Dr. Agoda, let's take the remaining time we have to look at your primary issue of this campaign. It's based on 7 pledges because there are people following. People want to know why you're running. You said to secure and protect affordable health care. How are you going to do that?
How are we going to secure and protect affordable health care?
Yes.
I think healthcare is first and foremost the reason we all live healthy lives. There's no reason why in America we still debate this issue of healthcare or health insurance, which is tiered according to jobs, according to salaries, according to all different types of situations and conditions. Um, just look not too far, but just in Canada over here. Why, why is it that countries like Canada and Sweden and France can provide healthcare to their citizens and we can do a similar thing in America? Why not? Why can't we do that? What's so complicated about that? It's because we've allowed the healthcare system to be run by business people. The government lays its hands off to a large extent, and there's nothing wrong with free enterprise, but we can still negotiate a deal that will benefit both the business world and the people. Because bottom line, who pays for those taxes? The average worker, the average poor worker, the average person who makes $33,000 a year, less than $50,000 a year, has to make ends meet, needs health care. And we have to find a way to solve that problem. It's solvable. If others can do it, we can also do it. So we need to find a way to talk to each other. We may disagree on how we do it, but we have to find the hard arguments and hard solutions. Let me put it this way. I don't know how Congress works because I've not been there before. But I know that if you intend, if your goal, your priority is to have health care as a number one priority, to make sure every American has health insurance at a certain affordable rate or even $0, we can do it if that's what we want to do. So we have to sit down and talk to each other, Democrats, Republicans, in between, whomever you are, and find those solutions. There is no problem without the solution. It's the lack of will to do it that is the problem. It's the desire which is not there. It's the interest in solving or protecting the smaller guys, the poorer people who have no say. They have no representation. Congress tends to be a place where people protect interest of interests. What do I mean by that? People go there to defend the interests of who sent them there. That's why this campaign is a poor man's campaign. We are going to try and represent the poor person both inside and outside Washington, D.C.
Correct. So meaning nobody is sending you, but rather the people, the grassroots. And which bring me to the next point. You've been in the education sector for over 33 years. You said in the points on education is to secure more educational and enrichment resources for all K-2 student schools, including expanding program and resources for our special needs population. What is the issue with our education sector?
Issue with education. I wouldn't say issue. What are some of the issues? What are some of the problems? We need to educate our kids from grade school through high school as good citizens. We have to provide civic education. It doesn't have to be a subject in the classroom. It can be after school. It can be on weekends. It could be in club activities. Civics is the foundation of good citizenship. Most high school students don't even know what it means to vote. We teach them in some of the classes, and I think this is all tailored by individual teachers. Some students at 18 will register to vote. This should be some automatic process. We have to make voting civic education, knowing the Constitution. You have to know your rights, but you have to also know your obligations. So we would limit and curtail. We talk about being self-reliant, being self-sufficient, being productive. Those are things that we have to teach our students. Financial literacy are things which have to be commonplace for our students as they graduate high school. So there are a lot of things we can tweak and improve in the educational system. Last but not least, we can change the way we assign diplomas. This process of traditional high schools pushing everyone to go to college is not the best way out. Colleges are there for those who want to go to college, for those who think that's the best course of action for them. From 8th through 12th grade, we have to try to track our kids and make sure that we would build on their skills for all the technical as well as mid-level professions like masonry, like carpentry, like mechanics, like aviation mechanics, like name it, or refrigeration, air conditioning, all those skills. We need people, plumbing, name it. We need to refocus our educational training for our students. This one size fits all. Having students learn foreign languages, I speak several of them. Guess what? It's not the best way out. Not to say that you don't have to speak them or learn them, but let's track students and help them build on their interests and their talents and their skills. We should not force everyone to have a high school diploma, which is one size fits all. You need X number of credits to go to college. If you don't want to go to college from 8th grade, you want to become a mason, start tracking the person to become a mason. Start tracking the person to become a car mechanic. Start tracking the person to become an air conditioning, or refrigeration technician. Those are equally, when we diversify our educational system by looking at what our kids can do, we stand to gain much more than we're doing today.
We have with us, as I said very earlier, Dr. Komi Agoda, candidate for the 11th Congressional District. We're talking about his agenda. What are his plans? If he wins the primary of the Democratic Party, he will be going against Malitaka. And I'm sure once a Democrat was a Democrat, I'm very certain that with Dr. Goda on the ticket, Malitaka will be history. Which brings us to the next point. To reform and strengthen our law enforcement system so that they provide adequate safety and protection of our families. But these same police are putting their knees on our neck. How do you want to reform the police?
We're not reforming the police. We just have to train them, give them more resources for training, sensitivity, as well as community policing. Police have to be in the communities 24/7. We need the police. The police is the first line of defense for any civil society, for any society that needs safety, or we all need safety. We need to be able to go to sleep with our doors open, so to speak. And there's no reason to consider the police as our enemies. They are our first line of defense. So by working with the police, having the police work in the community, having the police knowing the places where they patrol and supervise and protect, we can work together. There's no reason to consider police as enemies. They are there for us. We have to fund them. We have to protect them, and they have to be part of the community. And I think that will be a very good thing. And one last thing, I am no policymaker, but I think the police should come from the communities they serve. In other words, there should be a residency requirement for police officers. If you are part of that community, that's the first recruits or people you have to look at in order to police your environment. You cannot go look for somebody from outside to come and police you or to come and protect you. So if you recruit from inside, it's like they said, your family doesn't sell you a senior wouldn't buy. If the police you are having protect you are part of your environment, I think the first love or first interest will be to protect you. It's as simple as that. So the police need more funding, they need more support in order to be able to provide us that safety that we need.
If I can remember clearly, one of our opponents lose election because he supported defunding the police. So you are saying that we should not defund them, but rather what? Fund the police, correct?
Fund them more. If there's any such thing, give them more resources they deserve and they need that. More resources for the police. You cannot give them any less. More money is meant to be spent. So if you're going to spend it where it will make it to provide the most good quality of life.
I wish I would have the opportunity to speak to your opponent at this point in time, whether he still maintain his position to defund the police. But be as I admit, my next question will be, if you said this campaign is a grassroots campaign, people reaching out, people giving their little resources wherever way they can. But if there's a super PAC, somebody who got a lot of money show up today and give you some funding, will you take it?
When you say super PAC, what do you mean by?
I mean, like some business entity, someone who have an interest.
You mean now,
if you goes to legislature, I want to support your campaign, but I'm from the pharmacy sector, from pharmaceutical industry. I need our interest to be protected. Will you take such a money?
No, we don't take money from any corporate PACs because we are a poor man's campaign, and the average person is our donor, and so we have no PACs, and we don't intend to take money from any PACs. No.
Nope, he's not taking anything from any corporate PAC. So, what are you doing at this time? Because I know you have submitted a petition already, still waiting for the Board of Election final result. What's your plan moving forward from now?
We're seeking donations from all eligible citizens who are willing to donate to our campaign. Our campaign is www.agoda4congress. You can go online and you can donate $1, you can donate $10, you can donate $100. The limit is $2,900 per FEC rules. Any amount is good, and with that, we can run our campaign, pay our expenses, and be able to go to Washington and represent you.
I understand there's also a fundraiser for April 24 at the starting. If you want to be a part of that fundraiser, you can just go out there and go to for Congress on the website, and you can get a ticket for $75. The information is all out there. You can get yourself a ticket to support Dr. Agoda to Congress. Dr. Agoda, I believe in you and I believe in what you do. We not looking at your opponent, but I think the immigrant community, the Black, those of us who are here need to galvanize our support behind you. To even make that determination that you are running for Congress, that's the courage. I know you were discouraged by many people. Can you give us a little gist? What was it like for you to go before somebody who was in position to tell them, hey, I'm running for Congress? How was it received from those people?
This is a very tough question. I find it tough to respond because the difficulty stems from a couple of factors. I, I'm not sure if the idea of running for political office is it's a mindset that some people have, that you need to have certain credentials or qualifications to run for public office, which may be the general traditional notion of what politics means. And that's why a lot of uh, people, the average person, is turned off by by being involved in the political process. Most people, when you tell them you run for office, they say, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with it because politicians make the same promise every year and nothing comes out of it." So I tell them, guess what? Whether you like it or not, politics dictates how we live. Politics dictates where we work. Politics dictates what we eat, where we whatever we do is conditioned by politics. So it behooves on everyone to be involved in the process. Politics becomes supreme because it's everybody's business. But most people don't understand that. So they think it's for the politicians to do their work and they are not concerned about it. So the average person does not get involved in politics. We have to learn. But that's why I mentioned earlier about civic education. If we educate our students and our kids to understand the role of politics in their lives, we will get better citizens getting involved in the political process. And we have good leaders who become good servant leaders, who become good policymakers, because it takes common sense to do those things. And I do not know if what I'm saying it's going to mean much, but I believe that good people need to be in politics for us to break this. How would I? What's the word I'm looking for? To break this impasse, this deadlock of Democrats and Republicans not talking to each other but talking at each other. We need to talk to each other, to disagree, even though we disagree on the issues or the methods, but we have to disagree to agree. Regardless of what we feel, the bottom line of public policy is that if the outcome of what I'm going to stand for or sign for is going to result in the greater good of society, I would sign for it. That because that's what you are sent to do in Washington, not to go and block bills, not to go and prevent things from happening because they do not represent your interest. They may not represent your interest, but they may represent the greater good of society. And that's what we're looking for. So we need leaders who will go to Washington and look for that greater good of society, not individual interest. So that's why I'm not interested in any corporate PACs that would look to convince us or buy our services, because we are not there to sell anything to anyone. We are there to represent our people. And by representing them, we are representing the citizens of the United States of America, for whose interest we go there and do their bidding.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agoda. It's a pleasure having you tonight on our program. We're excited to have you. We time is our biggest enemy. I know that, You took this giant step. You just retire. You have chosen to just go to somewhere else. Maybe have some fun and maybe just live there without no more stress. But you are decided to jump into this project because it's a challenge. So we just like to have your parting comments tonight. And I know eventually we will still continue our conversation. There's a need. I support you 100%. We should have a seat at the table. People should not determine for us, telling us that this is good for us. We want to be on the table to let them know that no, that is not good for us, but this is what we want. This is what we deserve. We equally pay taxes here, so we should have a seat at the table to decide what happens for our people and for generation to come. And that alone, Dr. Agoda, I can say for you, the bold step you have taken, whether you win this or not, there are very young people in the community who are so determined that by seeing you go, taking this bold step, that they believe in themselves, that they can do the same. Please give us your parting comment tonight.
Leadership is by example, and so is teaching. When you teach your students, oftentimes it's not what you tell them, it's what you do that they see that makes them trust in your word. So I intend to keep my promise to represent every single constituent who will call my office. I keep saying this. There is no greater service to humanity than being a public servant. I started in the classroom. I want to have the opportunity to take it to Congress and to improve the lives of those who we can help improve. That will be the highlight of my life. I thank you guys for this opportunity. I thank my wife for 33 years who has been beside my side every step of the way. Thanks to her, we are where we are today. And I thank my team, Team Agoda, for this tremendous effort for us being here today. I thank the campaign manager. I thank the field director. I thank the deputy campaign manager. I thank the communication director. I thank all the volunteers who, through rain, snow, and wind, went out there to collect our petitions for us to be able to get on the ballot. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the hard work. I thank every single person. I may not mention people by names, but you guys know yourselves because I've expressed this a million times to you. My heart goes out to you. You have earned a special place in my heart, and together we're going to do this. I believe in you guys, and I thank you tremendously for this effort. I know, and I've told you many a times, this is your campaign. This is our campaign. This is not just about Dr. Agoda. It's about all of us. By doing this and succeeding, we're only moving together as a village. As they say, it takes a village. And this village is going to go far. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys and stay blessed.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agoda, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Well, just want to close with this song tonight. If you just joining us, you came on very late. Just letting you know that Dr. Agoda fundraiser is April 24th. If you want to support his campaign, buy a ticket. Go on his website, Agoda for Congress, AGODA, the number 4, Congress.com. You'll be able to get a ticket. There's a link. It's just $75, and the event will be at the starting April 24th at 6 to 10 p.m. But until then, tonight, this is how I go home. And join us Sunday. We'll be back here with another guest. We're going to have another discussion or another issue. Today was a complete exclusive with Dr. Agoda. My colleague Leva Tatus Daniel and Ben Keto are behind the scene making some adjustment. Until then, have a good night from my end.